Hello, welcome to day 9. I had to look down to check because my days have been so quantum time lately. I can't even remember, like today's Wednesday, right? I think so. Oh my goodness, it's so great. Just because so much is happening and the powerfulness that is happening celestially. We have a whole bunch of storms happening outside right now, windstorms, but just with the eclipses happening and the new moon and just everything that's happening, the upshifts. Oh my goodness, had the most powerful upshift the other day. Yesterday. See, I think the other day. And anyways, so party with the plants, day 9. What does that even mean? The plant party is all about the month of January because it's my birthday month and I'm super excited and the plants wanted to come in and I wanted to touch base with you about all these beautiful, lovely beings that you have around you that are here for you to help you up shift and up level your vibrations, help get you from those moments. Because when you are feeling that dissonance, when you are feeling your body hurts, possibly you have digestive upset, you're not digesting your food properly, you may be constipated, you're not sleeping properly, you got anxiety, you got depression, your vertigo is kicking in, you're overwhelmed, all of these things. It's because your vibration isn't at the level that it can be at. Something is causing this dissonance within those vibrations within you. And plants are a great way to help realign those. Yeah. So who am I and why am I talking about this? Well, my name is Hilary Raven Porter, and I am an integrative healer and an ascension guide and mentor. So I draw upon different modalities, one of them being herbs, plant spirit medicine, to help you step over that threshold into the awakening of the inner truth of your divinity. That is what I do. And some of the things I draw upon, for example, are the plants, but also things like acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, energy work, spiritual intuitive channeling with the 7 sisters, of one which I am 8, all of these things. But this is all about the plants. So this week has been all about the heart. Who have we talked about? We've talked about rose. We've talked, yesterday was a trifecta. We talked a little bit about hawthorn prunus and dandelion flower. You can pop on, oh, is it still there? It might not still be there, but it will be hopping on to my Hilary Raven Porter, HRAEFN on YouTube. I will be posting that later on this weekend there, so you can always catch it there if you missed it here. Yes. So today, so heart herbs all week. And it may not even be the heart herbs that you're thinking of, like specific for the heart muscle. We're talking mostly energetics here, but we're also talking about things about passion, about love, about sensuality, important parts of our lives. We don't get enough touch in our culture. We don't. We don't get enough physical touch. It doesn't necessarily have to be sexual touch, but just that physical, comforting touch. Granted, I will be talking mostly about that aphrodisiac type of touch when I am talking about the connections in that way and when it comes to love, but we just don't get enough of that. And so the plants can remind us that we don't need external touch. It feels great, but if we don't have that, we can still feel that warmth, that oxytocin surge that can happen when we have those. Not necessarily all the time, but it's there. And it's so different because we get lonely. And then when we get lonely, what happens? We look externally for something else. When sometimes, most of the time, what is that loneliness about? Is it because we're avoiding ourselves? Is it because we're avoiding that space within us that we don't want to see? The pain, the hurt, but those parts of us that feel ugly, that don't feel beautiful to ourselves? All of these aspects. And sometimes we need to sit within that loneliness, and the plants allow us to sit there, make us not feel as lonely, but allow us to hold that space. They hold that space for us to be like, I can do this. They take that edge off. The entity that's there without physically being there. So today, it's right in the name, Viola Tricolour. Maybe not that name. It's in the other name, which is Heartsease. Heartsease. Pansy. So you need little ones. They kind of go, here, it's not going to be the best drawing, but let's see. I'm going to try a little drawing here. Boop, doop, 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 boop, 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 boop. Pansy! And often they're like purplish, and then they have the little yellow on the inside, and they kind of, to me, they look like they're these little things going, rawr, right? What is the name of that show? Alice in Wonderland. They have these pansies that are all animated. the cartoon, the original. Okay, so I'm going to read this here. It helps to mend the microabrasions left on the cellular level of the heart. So yesterday we were talking about prunus and crataegus opening up, hawthorn and wild cherry opening up, releasing that band around us of the upper thoracic region of our chest. Also of the aura around this. So not just the physical tension, but the aura that can become like super tight and congested. And then adding dandelion flower to drain that out, but add that spark of light. And then we may be left with these little microabrasions. You feel a little scuffed up. You feel a little tender. You feel like, I don't want anybody going back in there. We put on that wall. I don't want anybody in there because I still feel raw. Think about when we get those little microabrasions on our fingers, and if you get like lemon juice in it or vinegar, or even sometimes just water, or it's just uncomfortable to touch things because it feels uncomfortable. It's raw. But that in your heart. From anything. Maybe you got passed up for a promotion. Maybe you got left. Maybe you left somebody else because it didn't feel right. Maybe it was an abusive relationship. Maybe there was a death in the family. Maybe you're peeling back the layers of yourself and there's that little death of those parts of you, and they left that soreness upon your heart, those little microabrasions. So she goes in and helps mend that. Heartsease. Now I will say from experience, she also can bring shit up. Quite a bit. So having her paired, and once again, so having her paired with other plants, but also there's different layers. You don't just go in and go, bam, I'm going to do all these heart level plants all at once, because there's layers to your heart. Chinese medicine, got the heart, small intestine, pericardium, and sanjiao. Not necessarily in that order, but the three of them are protecting the heart, which is the emperor, right? Once he's damaged, whoa, stuff goes down fast. You don't want that in there. So you have all these protective layers. So you want to go slowly peeling upon these layers, right? Think about if somebody comes up to you and you're just like, there's like, no, you need to do this right now. And you're like, whoa, at my own time. Even stepping in water, I always go back to the water analogy of like stepping into things. Walk in slowly. Some people dive in. But when you dive in, what happens to your body? Right? You might like the sensation, but it's... and it can put that back protection on. The protection back on. Right? So slowly and in patterns. Often when I'm working with clients, I see multiple herbs. But they're like, no, we're later. And it's the next progression of that layering down the road. With some adjustments as this layer is removed. So those micro abrasions upon the heart. She also helps reduce excessive and unwanted thoughts. So think about this one. You have a heartache. You have heartbreak. Whether it be, because even when you break up with someone, there is still this mending that has to happen because you are still disconnecting the ties that you have had to each other. And maybe you don't necessarily want to split with this person, but you have to because it is not a good fit. But then you're realigning your relationship either as friends or maybe you won't be friends. Who knows? But you're realigning the energetic bounds that you guys had together. Slicing them away altogether. Just reconfiguring them. It takes time. But what usually happens? You no longer have this person in your patterns. It's true. You no longer have this person in your patterns. But you can't stop thinking about them because if you ever watched my gratitude and motion videos or followed along with that one, we get these patterns in our brain, these ruts, these pathways. Some of them are ruts and we can't really get out of them, and we can get out of them. They're more challenging to get out of, right? So we're going down these pathways, and this person has been part of this pathway, and we've created these pathways. Oh, I'm about to go to the store. Oh, they're not involved. Oh, I'm going to go dancing. I used to always go dancing with this person, so that going dancing at this space always triggers the thought of that person for a while until you slowly remove that. So she, Heartsease, helps you reduce those unwanted thoughts and patterns, or like, what are they doing right now? Like just those little things, especially with texting and stuff now. You like text how many times a day? I don't even want to know how many times a day. It's crazy sometimes. Or how many times a day you talked to this person. You had these links to this person, and all of a sudden, poof. So you're not getting those little serotonin bumps, those dopamine bumps, but you're still thinking about them. So she helps you remove that. And I'm just talking about relationships, so this could be in other areas too, because our heart isn't only about relationship. It is about relationship with other people, but it's relationship with ourselves, with the environment. So many other things are involved with that. It doesn't have to just be relationship. Creativity, thought patterns. Okay, so she is also really amazing. The other one that I often use her for is food intolerances. Well, here I go again about the digestion and about the stomach. The stomach, right? It's all about how we are analyzing, absorbing our environment, how it can get in there. If we have an intolerance to food, yes, there are allergic level reactions, and she works on those levels, but we're talking energetics right now. So energetically, I can't tolerate. My body can't handle anything else that's from the external speech patterns, right? I need some acros, but can't handle the absorption of these things. Is intolerant of these other little beings that are coming in that are supposed to be helpful to me, but I see them as an enemy. You are outside of me. You do not. I know. I do not like you. So she helps us reestablish that relationship of like, you know what? Maybe you don't like the taste of it, but you can reestablish that relationship of bringing those nutrients into you and not seeing them as the enemy. Because food intolerances also often come up through the skin, right? You can get rashes, eczema, things like that. The line along here, I know when I've eaten something that I'm like, oh, my body's not happy with that today. Because I get these like little lines all up here and then sometimes around the mouth, right? Our body tells us. And the plants can help our body remember what is safe. We feel so unsafe in our world because there's so much happening to make us feel unsafe. So she goes in and helps you ease the heart, mend the microabrasions, reduce the inflammation that's happening in your heart, in your stomach, through your skin. She's also good for the lungs. She's not necessarily a specific grief herb, but she's good for the lungs or grief, metal. So here we go. We got the heart, which we talked about, which is the direct connect to the love and the relationships. We've got the grief that can happen and how we are like managing that sadness and how we are absorbing the environment again. So you've heard me talk about a lot of the plants about, oh, they help us absorb the environment. They help us digest what is happening within our experiences. But that is where the specialty comes in of like, oh, this one's helping us. A lot of these, say there's 10, are helping us with our digestion, which is helping us assimilate our environment and digest our experiences. And that's where it comes down to like the drop down menu of like, okay, but then are they also having this happening? Perfect. Then it's this herb that is good. Oh, it's not? Okay, let's go to the second one. Okay, then it's this herb that is more appropriate. They're all going to be helpful, but they're more appropriate for what is happening. Because they're all helpful on a certain level, some more so than others. And some you're like, this is the wrong plant for the wrong time, right? Or for this time. Once again, it's all about so this is more about digestion of the spiritual experiences that are happening around us, as well as the food and how we are absorbing the levels that are around us, that we are putting into our body. And often when people are going through this ascension process, this awakening can be on any level. It's not only this like powerful, oh, I'm ascended, because you know what? You never fully ascended. I'm just saying. You will until you're like out of this body. But you will go through these different levels and you always are learning new lessons. And it can be a challenge when you're moving up that rise before you hit that plateau of assimilation. You go up that rise and you're just like, oh, this is really challenging right now. I really don't know what to do with these new experiences, these new abilities that have been thrust upon me, this new feeling in my body, the stuff that I used to love, but I don't love so much anymore, that I can't do, but I feel I should, but I don't want to. It doesn't feel right. A lot of times it is around food, where you're just like, oh, that stuff doesn't taste good to me anymore because it's not the vibration that matches your new vibration. Bam, Heartsease. She helps you with that step. So once again, about the herbs, you always want to consult with somebody who is trained or has mucho experience in relation to these things, because there can be things that contraindicate, either that are not good or paired well with conditions you already have or medications you're already taking. So within Heartsease, there's salicylic acid. So if you have a sensitivity to salicylic acid, so aspirin type products, she is not going to be the plant for you. But there are so many other plants to draw from that can still help you with along the patterning, help you along releasing those patterns that you are trying to shed, or that no longer serve you, that no longer feel comfortable. You know, it's like spring when you pull off that sweater and you're like, oh my goodness, it feels so good to be in summer clothes. It feels so good to be in spring clothes. I can't wait. That's why I'm talking about it. I'm beyond excited to dive into my spring and summer clothes right now. It's been a long winter. Even though we haven't had snow and stuff, I don't know, something about the darkness this year. It's been really challenging for people. So that's what this feels like. As you were shedding off these layers, all of a sudden you're just like, oh, I can breathe. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything I wanted to talk about with you guys. She's good for love charms. She's a dream herb. Oh, she definitely is a dream herb. So something I've noticed she will do, as you're peeling these layers back with her, she can bring up things. So it's things that you didn't realize were under there, were needing to come out to peel back these layers. So it's a great idea to have support while you're doing so, whether it's support of a friend, of a colleague, a coworker, of a healer, but to have that support, because she can bring up some pretty intense things that are sticky that we didn't realize were sticking in there as she's clearing those dermabrasions. I think of it as like those microabrasions in your heart. And you know when, what would be a good, I'm thinking of like those procedures that they do where they like burn the skin and then it sloughs off that stuff. The stuff that was lightly burned and then it makes your skin look new and young again or something. It's that kind of thing. So she's going in and she's clearing those microabrasions that are happening. But as she's doing that, there is that stuff that sloughs off, right? And clears out, but then we still have to process that. Okay, so that was day 9. I will be back tomorrow with another heart herb. Not sure who's coming in tomorrow. I have my little list, but today was this one. Tomorrow will be another. So much love and stardust. I will speak with you soon. Have yourself an excellent afternoon this Wednesday midweek. And yeah.